So, guys, I get asked a lot in our training classes about Daily Scrum or Daily Stand-Up, some people call it. People tell me that they're just not worth going to. They're surprised when I tell them it should only last 15 minutes. I hear like, oh, ours go on for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I basically hear the following, if I can just paraphrase. A lot of my students are like, our Daily Scrum meetings suck and they need some help making them better. So what would be your top recommendations for having an effective Daily Scrum meeting? I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, let me start here. I'm always going to go back to your sprint goal. If you don't have one, this meeting is already worthless. The point of this meeting is not to sit around and talk about the football game you watched last night. It's not to talk about the 3 things that you wish you did better yesterday, or what you did yesterday, what you're going to do today, and do you have any impediments. I mean, those are vanilla, basic, barely even vanilla topics to start with. But a team is there to measure their progress towards a sprint goal. And if you don't know what your goal is, and you don't know where you are in relation to that goal, you're wasting 15 minutes of your life. That's one thing. But that's more, take a look at the Scrum guide, getting back into, scripture, and ignore that for a second. Here's another thing that you might find interesting about Daily Scrums is that if you go to them and you realize, man, I haven't seen my buddies in days because we just don't have a water cooler because all of our Daily Scrums are on Zoom calls, you might find that it makes sense to have like a social hour. So if you want your Daily Scrums to be a little bit shorter, maybe carve out some time outside of that meeting where you actually get together and talk like human beings about real things that human beings care about and not just a daily scrum. And then that 15 minutes of just focusing on progress towards a sprint goal might be a lot more condensed and valuable.
And all the extroverts said, here, and all the introverts said, do I have to?
Make it optional.
Right? I like it. What do you think, Greg?
I want to see teams not use the Daily Scrum as a one and only time in which they talk. Rob hinted at it with the whole, since Zoom or remote working has become almost de facto. I think there's been a huge excuse to everyone dividing and conquering and disappearing for the next 24 hours, and they come back to Daily Scrum and they bring all the baggage from the last 24 hours in with them. Why not come up with the initial go-to plan for the day, but why are we using that as an excuse not to talk to each other throughout the day? So I feel like Daily Scrum should be a prompt for the next 24 hours in which we continuously collaborate throughout the next 24 hours, not just one and done. I tell people this is one formal opportunity to meet for 15 minutes to get your stuff together. That's assuming you haven't been talking. There's some people say Daily Scrum's a waste of time because we've been talking already. There's nothing new. Cool. Well, then make it 2 minutes and move on with life, but still meet.
Right. Yeah. Some of my top tips for Daily Scrum, I mean, I've talked about these before. I made a video about relating Daily Scrum to a football game and how it's kind of like a football team's huddle between plays. Like, it should be short, it should be succinct, and it should focus more on what you're doing next than what you just got done. Right? If a football team huddled and they spent their whole huddle talking about the previous play, they're missing the whole point. So if you like that analogy, we'll put the link to that video in the description. Another tip that I would have is don't be afraid to vary things up. I mean, Rob, you mentioned the 3 questions that a lot of people think you have to answer during a daily scrum. What did I do yesterday? What am I going to do today? And what's standing in my way, or what impediments do I have? And those have been removed from the Scrum Guide, not because they're inherently bad questions or anything, but like it was never meant to be a prescription. This is how you shall do a daily scrum. So one of the most effective teams that I ever worked with, every sprint, we would actually change our structure to how we were facilitating the daily scrum. One sprint, we all answered the question before our turn was up, so to speak, of if I suddenly had a helper today of like, poof, there's an intern, they can help you with whatever work you're doing today. What would you have that person do? And that was a really cool structure because it led to a lot of serendipitous collaboration opportunities where somebody would say, oh, you need help with that? I've been wanting to learn that. I'll help you. I've got some time this morning. Great. Let's work together on it. So, and that's just one example. So don't be afraid to vary it up, change up your structure, walk the board, start with the goal, go person by person, go item by item, whatever it is. Just keep it from being this rote, mindless status update and make it fresh each sprint if I were giving advice.
If you like this video, just leave us a comment. And if you got some positive feedback, we'd love to hear it. And if you've got some negative feedback, well, we'd love to hear that too.
And be sure to check out our description. We have our email list there and our upcoming classes so you can upgrade your knowledge and work on a certification.